Hello, it's Wednesday the 3rd of June. There's been quite a change in the weather. It's raining today in the rectory garden. It's quite cold. This morning when I was out on my bike, I came back really quite wet. But I like things when they change, especially the weather. I married Gill many years ago, and by and large she has a very sunny disposition and nothing really bugs her. She's very easygoing. She's placid. I suppose she needs to be married to me. But sometimes some of the complexity of her nature comes out and you see another side. You see a change. And I remember one occasion we were going on holiday, Gill and I and the 4 children, down to France. And as we were driving down the country to get the ferry, we stopped at a service station for breakfast. And the service station had a special offer. It was free Lego with every child's meal. So we ordered our meals, and when it came to pay, Jill said, "Oh, I'll have the 4 sets of Lego, please." And they said, "Oh no, well you ordered the wrong meal." And it said, "Well, it's children's meals." And Jill said, "Well, my children have had meals." The fact that they'd had adult meals was the point that the little chef were trying to make. Anyway, Jill eventually got the manager to come out. The queue was building up. The children were saying, "Look, Mum, we're not really bothered about the Lego, just leave it." But Jill wouldn't leave it. She was determined. And eventually, the manager of the whole service station came to meet Jill. And of course, Jill pursued it, and she left with 4 sets of Lego. She is quite complex. There are few sides to her nature. Well, we follow a God who is complex, and there are many sides to God's nature. And in one of our readings, Romans 2, 1-16, set for evening prayer tonight, that reminds us of a part of God's nature. It reminds us, even though we might think it's a bit unpleasant, that God is a judge. God judges our actions. God has set a standard for us to live by, and he does notice when we don't live by that standard. But then we have good news in Psalm 136, which is the psalm for today, for this evening. That tells us God loves us. Not only that he loves us, but he loves us forever. In fact, in that psalm, it tells us 26 times God's love endures forever. And it reminds us of the wonderful God who we have and the wonderful world that he has given us to live in. If we think of God as being a bit like a parent, a good parent will challenge the bad behaviour of a child because they know what's best for them. But they don't stop loving them. A good parent doesn't stop loving the child and giving them all that they need, all that is good. But what about us? Well, in Romans, we're warned to leave the judging of our fellow human beings to God. We shouldn't look down on someone because they've made mistakes in their life, because we've all made mistakes. We're not in any position to judge others. We're reminded instead that we should focus on the riches of God's enduring kindness, of his tolerance, and of his patience towards us. And it's when we do that, when we focus on God, that it helps us adopt a similar attitude towards those around us. Bye for now.